Imagine turning a cluttered average house into your dream home using less, not more. For the past 7 years, we've made a minimalist lifestyle work for our family of 4. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the real life tour of our space and the simple shifts that made it peaceful, practical, and uniquely ours. When we first moved into this house, we sold our old house. And after making the minimum down payment on this one, we were left with a surplus. And in our minds, this was the perfect opportunity to use this money to furnish our new home. I remember spending hours shopping for new furniture and cushions and candles and throw pillows. We were just about to have our second child, and our oldest child was less than a year old. And at that point, it never once crossed our minds to use that money to add to our mortgage or to put it into savings. It pains me to think back to this, and it is so embarrassing that I was just so clueless. Or maybe I was just trying to keep up with what everyone else had. Either way, I remember spending thousands of dollars adding items into our home. And then fast forward a few years, and guess what we did? We sold or gave away nearly all of it. We had 2 young kids. We were 2 parents working full-time out of the house. And I just remember thinking, I can't do this. I can't look after all this stuff. It's too much stuff. I remember exactly when these shared living spaces started to feel less stressful and more like a house that I couldn't wait to come home to. It was when I started to have the right amount that I knew I could manage and enjoy rather than trying to recreate what others had or what I thought was cool or popular. As you can see, I'm showing you the main floor of the house, basically the foyer and living and dining areas. The furniture is a mix of hand-me-downs or secondhand, or there's a couple of brand new items as well. What I love most is that I can tidy everything in under 10 minutes. You might notice that a lot of the ceilings in this area are mostly those popcorn ceilings. And I know because I see so many people sharing about how they're out of style. And so everyone is sanding them down and removing them so it's just drywall. But because I have become so relaxed and calm in these spaces, honestly, I never even noticed the ceilings. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that we painted our fireplace black a few weeks ago, which I absolutely love, but otherwise we don't do a ton of upgrades. I know some of our light fixtures are pretty outdated and the railing in the foyer is the old style, but I actually don't mind any of it all. This weird magical thing happened when our house started to feel like peace. All of the things that were wrong with it started to disappear to me. If you find yourself spending more time managing your house when you'd rather be outside or spending time with your friends or learning to do karate, then simply letting go of items that are sucking your time might help you make this shift. Next up is a room that almost everyone feels like is too small in their own homes. For the first few years of living in our house, I remember just assuming that we would tear out our kitchen and make this main floor open concept. That's what everyone else's kitchen looks like, and I just sort of assumed we would do the same thing. I remember even when we first toured the house, Scott and I were both like, yeah, we would of course tear this out and make it open concept. Like obviously we had to have an island. I remember spending years planning out where the island would go and how it would all look. But after a few years of living in this kitchen and preparing all of our meals and organizing all the spaces so they work well for us, I never want it to change. And how did I change my perspective on this? I simply started working in other people's kitchens. Many of them were large, beautiful kitchens that were an absolute dream to be in. But nearly every kitchen we worked in that had a load of storage ended up with way more clutter simply because they had the space. I know a lot of people will be annoyed at me saying this. Maybe you're thinking in your head right now, like, no, Marianne, I actually have no storage in my kitchen. And yes, we have been in kitchens that are teeny tiny and they do have terrible storage. For sure. But from my experience, the majority of the kitchens that have a ton of storage, those extra cupboards, they just get filled with clutter. Now, I'm not super passionate about cooking, so I don't need a lot of extra tools or supplies. And this kitchen is still a big upgrade from our last one. But I have found that there is a tipping point where too much storage in a kitchen can actually be detrimental. And if you're able to decide what kitchen items you truly use and let go of the rest, you'll probably be so much closer to your dream kitchen without knocking any walls down. Next, we are heading upstairs. When we first moved into our home, Leo was still in a crib and Annie Rose was not even born yet. So we spent several years changing up their rooms, from bassinets to cribs to beds. We even switched which rooms we all slept in. But no matter what I did or how much I decluttered, I felt like I couldn't get these spaces feeling just right. Especially Annie Rose's room just felt so small and we were constantly tripping over everything all of the time. So finally we tried one more thing. We took the doors off of 2 of our 3 closets. It was a game changer. Don't worry, I'm not suggesting this for everyone. I totally get that it's nice to have doors so you can hide your storage and it doesn't have to be looking perfect all the time. But opening up the closets gave us one huge advantage that a lot of people can incorporate somehow, somewhere. And that is simply opening up your floor space. Literally just having fewer items on the floor so that it feels more open. Once we opened up the closets in our room and Annie Rose's room, we were able to put both our dressers inside the closets. So that was one less piece of furniture taking up space on the floor. When I do this in any space, it instantly clears my mind. I feel less claustrophobic. If you have rooms that are feeling like, oh my gosh, I can barely move around in here, take a look around and see if there's an old chest or chair or table that maybe isn't really doing much and really just taking up valuable floor space. Next up is an area of our home that is a little more raw. If you want to see the real belly of our house, keep watching. If you are looking for inspiration for a relatively small space that has a lot of functions, this is it. Our basement is another area that I always imagined we would completely finish and redesign and add a second bathroom. I love how all of the plans for their house is gonna cost me $500,000. I was living on another planet, I think. This basement isn't cute and the floor is really rough in the unfinished part, but every time I sit back and reflect on this space, I become so grateful for it. I fell in love with it simply by appreciating how functional it is. We use this space for 7 things. We use it for our laundry, my work product storage area, my work office space. We have Scott's golf workspace that he uses in the wintertime, storage for our household paperwork. We have the finished area for the kids to watch TV and play. And we also have our household storage in a closet in there. This area never looks like really cute, but we are down here constantly. And there's one big reason it works so well in spite of being very raw. And that was because we've gotten rid of everything that we don't use. And what probably helped the most for us was having these physical limits. We didn't have space to waste. In my work product area, for example, after 3 years of working with clients, I've learned that I don't want more stock that this area can hold. And I know that I don't want to have to manage more household paperwork than I can fit into these 2 file totes. Every time I feel myself getting annoyed with my work office area, have a look, and it's almost always because there's something in there that I don't need or want, i.e. clutter. I always remember that I don't need more space, I just need less stuff. Next up is the area that we use for our sort of like outdoor storage area. One of the top complaints I hear from people, especially anyone who lives with other people, is that there's always shoes everywhere, that they can't get control of like the shoe organization. And we had the exact same issue. The garage door, which leads into our family room, was our main entry and exit for the house, but there was no official like space or storage for shoes or coats or anything like that. So we decided to create a makeshift mudroom in our garage. This sort of 10 by 12 foot area changed everything for us when it comes to our outerwear and getting out of the house for work and school every morning. We sanded and painted an old set of drawers that I think Scott found on the side of the road, and we used that for our shoe storage, and we added hooks for our coats, and we simply use a basket for our accessories like hats and mitts, which just lives inside of our door. But how the heck do we make this area work for 4 people? I would say it's probably 2 main ways. Number 1 is that we are constantly clearing out shoes. This is especially important because we have young kids in our house and they are constantly changing sizes of shoes. And secondly, we only keep items at the door that are being used currently and regularly. For example, it's summer here in Ontario, so we keep our sandals and running shoes in the mudroom area right now, and all of the winter gear and snow boots that we aren't grabbing for it live in our front hall closet, which basically are off-season or infrequently used storage, outerwear storage. A lot of clients also store dress shoes in bedroom closets or basements if they have a larger collection, which also can work really well too. The rest of the garage is split into my work storage, Scott's golf work area during the summer, our home and yard maintenance tools and supplies, toys and sports equipment, and also our garbage and recycle lives in there. It's nothing fancy, but holy cow, it gets used so much every single day. There are obviously days that I look around our house and I want to change something, or one area starts to drive me crazy. But overall, after 7 years of decluttering, this home has become our sanctuary and it functions so well for our busy weeks. It is so easy in 2025 to compare our homes to the ones we see online. And we can spend every day feeling like our houses are lacking in some way. But I can tell you that after being in countless client homes over the past 3 years, that I have not been in a single home that is absolutely perfect. Even the ones that are only a year old and they're absolutely gorgeous, the homeowners are still working on a room or stressing out with the flooring or finishing the basement. The ability to love our homes in spite of their imperfections can be such a benefit. And I truly believe that this mindset can catapult us forward when it comes to how we look after our homes, which can impact every part of our lives. The best part about decluttering and organizing is that it's a way to upgrade our house for virtually free. If you love behind the scene videos just like this, I recently made one sharing how much we own of 6 common categories, and you can watch that right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.